1. Introduction. My name is Janice. I am 28 years old. For a long time, I truly believed my life was perfect. Every day felt like a dream. I had everything I could wish for, and I felt like the luckiest woman in the world. My husband, Norman, was 35 years old. He was very handsome and incredibly smart. He was a powerful CEO, a leader in his field. Everyone knew him, and everyone respected him. He was strong, successful, and seemed to have everything under control. I loved him very much. We lived in a very large house. It had many rooms and a beautiful, big garden. We had staff who helped us with everything, like a cook who made delicious meals and people who kept our house clean. We owned several expensive cars, and we often traveled to beautiful places. Our life was full of luxury. We went to important parties and met many important people. Our social standing was high, and we enjoyed a life of comfort and ease. I thought our future was bright and clear. Then, something even more wonderful happened. I found out I was pregnant. I was 2 months pregnant, and the news filled my heart with immense joy. I felt a new life growing inside me, and it was the most amazing feeling. I could not wait to tell Norman. I imagined his happy face, his excitement, and how we would plan our future with our baby. I wanted to make the moment special when I shared the news with him. That evening, I waited for Norman to come home. I prepared his favorite dinner and set the table beautifully. The clock moved very slowly. Norman usually came home at 6 o'clock, but tonight he was late. I started to feel a little worried. Finally, I heard his car. He walked into the house, but he did not smile. His face looked tired, and his eyes seemed distant. He did not look at me directly. I felt a strange coldness in the air. I tried to tell him my wonderful news. My heart was beating fast with excitement, but also with a new, strange fear. I started to speak, but he stopped me. He looked away from me. He did not touch my hand, and he did not touch my stomach, where our baby was growing. His eyes seemed far away, even though he was standing right in front of me. I felt a sudden coldness in my stomach. Something was wrong, but I did not understand what it was. He gave me a quick kiss on my forehead. His lips felt cold. Then he said, "Let's talk tomorrow, Janice." He walked away and went into his study. The door closed quietly behind him. I stood alone in the big living room. The perfect evening I had planned was gone. My happiness turned into a strange worry. What was wrong? Why did he not want to talk? The night ended with a question mark hanging in the air. I went to bed, but I could not sleep. My perfect life suddenly felt less perfect. 2. The mistress in my house. I had a doctor's appointment that day. It was a good visit. The doctor told me my baby was growing well and was healthy. I felt very happy. My heart was full of joy for Norman and for our future. I wanted to share this good news with him right away. I thought about surprising him. Maybe we could have a nice, quiet lunch together. I imagined us talking about baby names and our plans. The thought made me smile. I drove our car home. The sun was bright and the day felt warm. Our big house stood quietly as I pulled into the driveway. It looked just as it always did, grand and welcoming. I opened the front door with my key and stepped inside. The house was quiet. I thought Norman might be in his study, working, or perhaps he was in the shower. I walked softly up the stairs, heading towards our bedroom. I opened the door slowly, ready to call his name. Then I saw her, Tessa. She was Norman's secretary, but she was not just in the house. She was standing right there in our bedroom, and she was wearing my silk robe. It was the blue one, the soft one I loved to wear in the mornings. My breath caught in my throat. Tessa looked at me. A small, strange smile touched her lips. "You're back early," she said. Her voice was calm, too calm. My heart felt like it stopped beating. My body froze. I could not move. I just stood there, staring at her, my beautiful robe in my house on her body. It felt like a dream, a bad dream. Then Norman came out of our bathroom. He was behind Tessa. He looked at me. There was no surprise in his eyes. There was no sadness. He did not look guilty. He did not say, "I am sorry," or "Please forgive me." He simply stood there next to Tessa, looking at me with a steady, cold gaze. He looked from Tessa to me and then back to Tessa for a brief moment. He took a slow, deep breath. His voice was clear and emotionless. "Janice," he said. "This is Tessa. We are in love." The words hit me like a physical blow. The world around me started to spin. My husband, the man I had loved for years, the man I thought I knew, the father of my unborn baby, he was in love with another woman. And this woman was standing in my house, in my bedroom, wearing my clothes. A wave of terrible pain washed over me. It was not just sadness, it was a profound shock. It was a deep, sharp feeling of betrayal. My perfect life, the one I had believed in, was a lie. Everything I thought was real broke into a million pieces. I felt a sudden weakness in my knees. I felt like I could not breathe. The joy from the doctor's visit, the happiness for my baby, all of it vanished in an instant. It was replaced by a cold, empty ache. I stood there, lost and completely alone in what used to be my safe home. My eyes saw Tessa and Norman, but my mind refused to accept what it saw. This could not be real. This was not happening. He threw me out. I woke up the next morning feeling very heavy. After what happened, I thought Norman would feel bad. I thought he would say he was sorry. Maybe he would explain. I hoped he would tell me it was a mistake and that he still loved me. But my hope quickly disappeared. Norman came into the bedroom. He did not look at me. His face was cold and hard. He stood by the large window. The morning light came through, but it did not make him look warmer. His voice was low, but very clear. He told me to pack my things. He said, "This is not your house anymore. You need to leave today." My body felt cold. I could not believe his words. This was our home. We had built a life here, or so I thought. I tried to speak, but my voice was shaky. "But I'm your wife," I said, trying to make him remember our life together. "We are married. We made promises." I then touched my stomach gently. "And I'm pregnant. We are going to have a baby." I looked at him, waiting for some sign of care, some sign that he remembered our shared future. I thought the baby, our child, would change his mind. It was a new life, a part of both of us. But Norman did not move. His eyes were like ice. He said, very coldly, "The baby wasn't planned." "I want a new life, a different life." His words hit me like a physical blow. He did not care about our marriage. He did not care about the baby. He wanted me gone. He wanted to start over without me, without our child. Then he took out a paper. It was a check. He held it out to me. "This should be enough," he said. He thought money could fix everything. He thought it could pay for my pain. He thought it could pay for our broken marriage and my broken heart. It was a final insult. I did not take the check. I left it there on the bed. It felt dirty, like blood money. I went to my closet. My hands shook as I chose a few clothes. I took only the most important things, a small bag. I did not take my jewelry or anything expensive. I did not want anything from him. I wanted to leave quickly. The house felt like a prison. Every step I took felt heavy. I walked through the big rooms, past the beautiful furniture, and out the front door. I left with nothing but my personal items and a heart that was completely broken into many pieces. Alone and pregnant. My life was completely different now. I lived in a small apartment. It was a big change from my old, large house. The rooms were small, and the silence felt very heavy. I spent many hours sitting alone, just thinking. Every night, I felt a deep sadness, and tears often came to my eyes. I had no job, and my money was almost gone. This was a very difficult time. A new baby was growing inside me, and this made everything feel much heavier. I often felt very tired and weak. I worried about how I would manage everything. How could I take care of myself and a new baby without any help? Going outside was also a challenge. When I left the apartment, people often looked at me. I could hear their quiet talks. They whispered about me in the streets, and their words sometimes reached my ears. It was hard to hear what they said. Some people believed I had done something wrong or that I was only interested in money. These words hurt me deeply. I tried very hard to ignore them and keep my head up, but inside, I felt a mix of sadness and shame. I knew I had done nothing wrong, but their judgment made me want to hide from the world. One afternoon, I went to the local supermarket. I needed to buy a few things to eat. As I walked through the aisles, I started to feel very unwell. My body felt weak, and my head began to spin. The lights in the store seemed too bright, and the sounds became unclear. I felt dizzy, and my legs felt like jelly. Everything around me started to blur, and then the world went dark. I remember falling and then nothing. When I slowly opened my eyes, a kind face was looking down at me. A man was kneeling beside me. He helped me to sit up very carefully. His voice was soft and calm. He quickly went to get a bottle of water and gave it to me. He stayed with me, making sure I was okay, until I felt strong enough to stand. He did not ask any difficult questions about my situation. He just seemed to understand that I needed help. His name was Eli. He gave me a gentle smile, and his next words were very simple, but they touched my heart. He said, "You do not need to be strong all the time." These words were a great comfort to me. For the first time since leaving my home, I felt a small spark of hope. I was still alone and pregnant, but maybe I was not completely alone after all. 5. The divorce trap. One morning, Norman's mother, Mrs. Langford, came to my small apartment. She was a tall woman with a very serious face. Her eyes were cold as she looked around my simple home. She did not smile. She held a thick paper in her hands. This was a contract. Mrs. Langford spoke in a quiet but firm voice. She told me to sign the paper. If I signed it, I must leave quietly. I could not talk about the baby. I could not give interviews to newspapers. There must be no drama, and if I signed, I would get nothing at all. This contract wanted me to give up all my rights. It wanted me to be silent about everything that had happened. I looked at the paper, then at Mrs. Langford. My heart felt heavy, but a new strength grew inside me. I knew this was wrong. I had done nothing bad. I would not give up my child's future. I looked at her and said, "No, I will not sign this." Not long after that day, a new letter arrived. It was from Norman's lawyer. Inside, there were divorce papers. The words on these papers were very strong and hurtful. They said many false things about me. They called me unstable. They called me a liar. They said I was not fit to be a mother. I read the words, and my hands shook. I felt very sad and angry. It seemed like Norman wanted to end our marriage quickly and without any discussion. He wanted to make me look bad so he would not have to give me anything. I felt lost again, thinking about how I could fight these powerful people. I was just one person, alone and pregnant. Then, a few days later, Eli came to my door. He remembered me from the supermarket, and his kind smile made me feel a little better. He asked how I was doing. I told him about the divorce papers and the terrible accusations. Eli listened carefully. He told me he was a lawyer. He said, "I can help you. We can fight these papers. We can fight for your rights and for your baby." His words were like a light in the dark. I felt hope for the first time in many weeks. Maybe I did not have to face this alone. Maybe I could fight back. 6. Secrets of the CEO. Eli began his important work right away. He started a deep legal investigation into Norman's business. He looked at every paper, every email, and every business deal very carefully. Eli was a smart lawyer, and he knew how to find hidden things. He spent many hours looking for answers. He wanted to understand everything about Norman's company. Soon, Eli found something very big. It was a major secret about Norman's business. The secret was about Tessa, Norman's secretary and his mistress. Tessa was not just working for the company, she was stealing a lot of money from it. This was a very serious crime. Even worse, Norman knew all about Tessa's theft. He was helping her. He was actively covering up her actions, trying to hide the truth from everyone. This meant Norman was also involved in the crime. Eli explained everything to me clearly. I was shocked once more, but this time I felt a new kind of anger mixed with a strong sense of purpose. We started to collect all the proof we could find. Eli called it building our case. We needed very strong evidence to show in court, evidence that no one could argue against. We gathered many emails that showed Tessa's plans to take money. We found photos of important financial documents that Norman had changed to hide the theft. We collected receipts for large amounts of money spent that were never for the company. Every small piece of paper, every digital file was important. We put everything together very carefully. At first, I still felt a big conflict inside me. Part of me did not want to seek revenge on Norman. My heart still felt a deep sadness from everything that had happened. I just wanted justice for my child. My baby deserved a father who cared and was honest. My baby deserved a good life and a proper name. I wanted Norman to take responsibility for our unborn child. I thought maybe he would change his mind and do the right thing for his own baby. However, Norman's next actions made my choice very clear. He showed no care at all for the baby. He completely refused to give any support for his child. He said he would not help with money or anything else for the baby's future. This cruel decision changed everything for me. My last bit of hope for a peaceful solution disappeared completely. My determination grew very strong. I knew then that I had to fight, not just for myself, but for the innocent life inside me. This fight was for my child's future, and we would use all the secrets Eli had found. 7. The fall of Norman. The court was full of people. Many reporters were there. I felt nervous, but I knew I had to be strong. Eli stood beside me. It was time to tell the truth. I spoke clearly about everything. I told the judge and everyone present about Norman. I spoke about our marriage. I spoke about finding Tessa in my home. I spoke about Norman throwing me out. I also spoke about my pregnancy and how he refused to help. I explained how Tessa stole money from his company. I told them how Norman covered up her actions. It was important for everyone to know. This was not just my story. It was about justice. After the court session, the news spread fast. It was on every television channel. Newspapers wrote big stories. Online, people talked a lot. The headlines were clear. Chief Executive Officer cheats on pregnant wife, covers up theft. Everyone knew Norman's name now, but not in a good way. The public was shocked. They saw him as a bad man. This made a very big scandal. Norman's good name was gone. Norman's company started to lose money quickly. Many people who owned parts of the company, called shareholders, sold their shares. They did not want to be part of a company with such a bad leader. Business partners stopped working with Norman. His big business deals failed. His company, which was once very strong, became weak. Sales went down. The company was in serious trouble. Norman lost a lot of his power and money. His career was falling apart. The scandal also hurt Norman's family. His mother, Mrs. Langford, was very stressed. The news was too much for her. She became very sick. The doctors said she had a heart attack. She had to go to the hospital. Tessa, Norman's mistress, also disappeared. No one saw her anymore. She left the city. Maybe she went far away. She could not face the public shame. Norman was left alone. One day, Norman came to my apartment. He looked very different. His clothes were messy. His face was tired and sad. He looked much older. He stood at my door and looked at me. He looked like a man who had lost everything. He said my name softly. "Janice," he said. His voice was low. "I made a big mistake, a terrible mistake." He paused. "Can we fix this? Can we go back?" He looked hopeful, but also desperate. I looked at him. I remembered the pain he caused. I remembered being alone and pregnant. I remembered his cold words. On the table next to me was a photo of my baby. She was beautiful and innocent. I looked at her picture. Then I looked back at Norman. My voice was calm and firm. "It's too late, Norman," I said. "Much too late." I did not open the door wider. I did not invite him in. My decision was clear. There was no going back for us. 8, a new beginning. Illy stayed by my side. He was a true friend during my pregnancy. He came to every doctor's appointment with me. He listened when I felt tired or worried. He always made me feel safe and cared for. When the time for the baby was close, he helped me get ready. He painted the baby's room a soft yellow color. He bought a small bed and tiny clothes. His kindness was like a warm blanket around me every day. He showed me what real love was. It was not like the love I knew before. The day came when my baby was born. Eli was there. He held my hand tightly through the long hours. He told me I was strong and brave. After many hours, my beautiful daughter arrived. We named her Hope. She was small and perfect. Eli cried happy tears when he held her for the first time. It felt like a new family was born that day. It was a moment of true joy and peace after much sadness. Our new life together began. Eli, Hope, and I lived in a comfortable home. Every morning, Hope's bright smile filled our rooms with light. Eli was a wonderful father. He played with Hope and helped with her baths. We cooked meals together and shared quiet evenings. It was a simple life, but it was full of love and peace. This was the family I always wanted, but did not know I could have. I also started my own small business. It was a flower shop. I loved working with flowers. Each bloom was a symbol of new life and beauty. People came to my shop to buy flowers for happy moments in their lives. This work gave me great joy. It showed me I could be strong and independent. I earned my own money, and I felt proud of what I built with my own hands. It was a new kind of fulfillment. Sometimes letters arrived in the mail. They were from Norman. I never opened them. I put them in a drawer and then threw them away without reading a single word. His past was not my present or my future. I had no anger left. I had no sadness. There was only peace. He was part of a different time, a time that ended long ago and had no place in my new life. My life was very different now. I had lost everything once. I had felt so much pain and despair. But that pain led me to something much better. It led me to Eli and to Hope. It led me to find my own strength and purpose. I learned that sometimes, when one door closes, a much better one opens. Heartbreak can be a path to true happiness and a new beginning.